Now, when David was a shepherd boy, said he killed Goliath and shout for joy. So won't you play on your harp, David, won't you play on your hallelujah? Won't you play on your harp, hallelujah? Oh, won't you play on your hallelujah? Won't you play on your harp, hallelujah? Now David, he went up on the mountain top, Lord, he made his wings go. So won't you play on your hallelujah? Won't you play on your harp, hallelujah? Play on your harp, David. David was a shepherd boy, and he lived very high on the hog. That was a hill about 8 miles on the west side of town. He lived there with his 3 step-parents. Now, there's 2 kinds of step-parents that you can get if you're going to go digging step-parents in the step-parent bag. One kind of step-parents you can get is what they call good step-parents. That group of men that dress you up in all kinds of velvet shirts and beaded moccasins and let your hair grow long and groovy, and they give you about 400 pounds of Navajo jewelry, and when they finally kick off and die, they leave you a great big house in the country and a great big bank in the city with an easy walking distance of the subway. But it was too bad for David on account of the kind of step-parents he had was bad step-parents. They had the kind of cats that snuck up behind him and put these turtles in his bed and stole his jelly crackers and everything like that. And they made David work all day as a shepherd boy on account of the Shepherd's Union, you know, had all kinds of stuff like that. And when he come home at night, they made him work all night long, learn how to play the harp, because the Harp Players Union was the strongest local in town. They wanted to have all kinds of extra money for juice and Sunday afternoons and everything like that. You know what I mean? But anyway, he'd get home from a hard day at the shepherd factory, and they'd say, go on upstairs, practice your harp, Dave. And he'd say, okay, I will, and it sounded just like this. He hung out with Merle Travis a lot. So anyway, he's sitting up there about 4 o'clock in the morning, crocheting a groovy scene on his harp, you know, and here's a knock, knock, knock at the door, and who is it but the king? King says, how's everything, David? David says, everything's fine with me. What's going on with you? He says, well, things ain't too good. There's a giant over at Southeast Asia way, bugging everybody, you know what I mean? He's stepping on the chicken coops and setting fire to the haystacks and stealing the milk cows and stealing the milkmaids and everything else. And I heard you're a good hand with a slingshot. How'd you like to go out and cool him for me? You know what I mean? David said, what the hell kind of a lick is this? You come busting in my house at 4 o'clock in the a.m. telling me I gotta go tromping around halfway around the world to look out and kill somebody that I don't even know. I might even dig the gut. You never know what I mean. You know, but the king say, you have to do it because I'm the king and my word is the law, and if you don't do it, I'm going to take you and slap you down into the dungeon for 111 years, throw the key away and send you to bed without your supper. Besides, David says, I sure as hell have been drafted. I'll do it. So anyway, he goes on out and he's getting ready, you know, and he's going down the road looking for Goliath, and he's such a little bitty like kind of a cat that he doesn't even raise up a cloud of dust when it's going down the road. He sounds like this. He's looking for Goliath now. I can't find him. Yes, I can. Can't find him anywhere, man. I don't know where he is. It sure is a hot day. It sure is a hot day. I guess I'll go on back and tell the cat I can't find him, you know what I mean? I'll just sit here in the shade of this footprint, you know, and rest. He looked up in the air and he said, Goliath coming down the road in his size quadruple E, triple size, freak style shoes, and he sounded like this. And old David, man, he looking this way, he looking that way, he looking every which way, trying to find some place where there won't be no giant in that place, but ain't no place like that to look because there's giant all over the place. And he finally gets up enough nerve and he say, hello, Goliath. Goliath say, hello, David. David say, what's that you got over your shoulder? Giant say, it's an axe. David say, ain't that a bitch? He said, we ain't know about that. Say, what are you going to do with it? Giant say, I'm going to cut you if you come near me. David say, you can't cut me. Giant say, yes, I can. David say, no, you can't. Giant say, yes, I can. David say, no, you can't. Says, I don't know what you call that thing, an axe where you come from, but where I come from, they call it a guitar. You know what I'm talking about. Why don't you take it down, tune it up here to this here E harp, and we'll see who's going to beat each other. Throw that old sword over in the ditch. I'll put my slingshot up in the tree. You know, we have a good time. Play on your harp now. And that's what it did. Played all night long, having a good time. The old giant say, all right, man, I'm going to show you how I'm going to cut you. Much less painful cutting with a harmonica than with a real axe. So, this is what the giant did. He said, you see if you can follow me, Dave. And old giant went like this. And old David say, no, that's too hard for me. I can't do that at all. You know, so anyway, they're having a good time, you know, walking down the road, you know, talking and everything. And all of a sudden, David say, man, he's talking to the giant say, listen, how come you down here fighting me? David said, strange thing. King walks in, said there was somebody down here stealing chickens or something. I never did find out what it was all about, you know. The giant say, ain't that too much? He said, my king sent me down here. Said there was some stud keeping everybody awake with a harmonica all night long. What do you think about that? You know. So they say, that's pretty good. They're walking down the road, and old David looking at me and say, hey, man, what is that thing sticking out of the middle of the road? And the giant say, man, look at that. Can't you see? Why, that's a beanstalk growing all the way up through the clouds. David say, beanstalk, wait a minute, you had me in the second book of the Bible, and all of a sudden we're into the third book of Grimm's fairy tales without so much as a customs, immigration, or agricultural inspection. What are you talking about? And he say, just dig what you see, dig what you see. And they walk up to this wild green beanstalk growing all the way through the clouds, and they're walking around it and sort of pulling the leaves off of it and digging them and rolling them up and stuff and looking at them and everything. And they say, let's go on up and see what the top leaves are like. You know what I mean? So they start climbing up this magic beanstalk. And you know, when you start climbing a magic beanstalk, as all magic beanstalks, you get higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. When they got to the top, what they see, they saw a great big castle. They saw this wild-looking castle, and they're running up to it. They say, man, isn't that crazy? They're sitting up all the way up here in the clouds. This is better than King Kong, I'll tell you, man. They're walking around, man. They're looking in the window, and the giant is looking in the window, and David's on the giant's shoulders, and they say, hey, wait a minute, there's two studs in that room. And the giant say, I know that one stud, that's my king. David say, I know that other turkey, that's my king, too. What are they talking about? And one king is saying, okay, let's make this perfectly clear. They got one haystack for me and one haystack for you. The other king say, right. They pick out one chicken coop for me and one chicken coop for you. The other king said, that's right. Say, I'll pick out one herd of milk cows for you and one herd of milkmaids for me. You say, that's right. And giant look at David. David look at the giant, and they say, that is the twist and truth that all them kings that are sending out all us people to fight against each other are just going to split all the stuff up betwixt themselves, and we ain't going to get in it. So what they do, they jump down from the beanstalk, slid down to the earth, cut down that beanstalk where them two badass kings could never get back to where the good people live. They cut the beanstalk down, cleaned it, sold half of it, smoked the rest, and had a great time. Oh, play on your heart. Hallelujah, Lord. Play on your heart. Hallelujah. Thank you.